Woo! It is your witchy friend Grace from Small World's Big Adventures with a little Spooktober announcement before our review of the spooky board game, Don't Talk to Strangers. This week and next week, we'll be giving away a game from our personal collection. This week's game is Forbidden Island, a razor-edge cooperative game about hunting for treasures on a sinking island. To qualify, you must live in the United States and comment on at least one video this week, the 15th through the 21st. We will then randomly choose a winner from the comments. Also, everyone who comments throughout the month, the 1st through the 30th, will be entered for a brand new copy of Horrified, a maddening cooperative board game with iconic monsters. We'll announce the winner by commenting on one of the person's comments and announce on each Sunday's video who has won. The more videos you comment on, the greater your chance to win, so let us know your thoughts on each game. Hi, I'm Gracie, and this is Scott from Small World's Big Adventures, and today we'll be reviewing Don't Talk to Strangers.
Don't Talk to Strangers is a game for 1 to 4 players. It plays in about 15 to 20 minutes, more like half an hour maybe, at least for your first few games. Cost is $20. Setup is about 5 minutes, maybe 10 if you're slow. There's not a lot of components to the game. The game is one of the Steve Rhodes art games. There's now, I believe, 6 of them out.
Yep.
They're all kind of tongue-in-cheek horror-themed games of some sort. This one is you are leaving school as a bunch of kids. You're trying to get all of your kids home or to a safe spot, but aliens are running around the city and they're abducting people. And you can get different points depending on where your kids end up. And if you lose all your kids, then you don't get points for those.
That's right.
It's fun. It plays out on a little board of the town, and you've got little tokens for your kids that you run around. You have cards that can get you there faster with things like mom's SUV and stepdad and hitchhiking and things like that.
Don't hitchhike, though. That's a bad idea.
It's not safe.
With this being an alien-themed game, we are a little curious if you would be willingly going with aliens should they invade. And the answer for me is no. No, thank you.
You don't like
Would
aliens.
run. They could be the cutest aliens in the world. No, thank you. I like Earth just fine. Thanks.
Sure.
What about you? Would you go with aliens?
I'm sticking with you wherever you're going. I'm going.
Fair. When we review games, we do it on a 5-point scale from terrible, bad, mixed, good to excellent. And to kick it off, talking about player agency. What did you think?
Sure. I said good. You have a number of kid tokens. You can have one out and just run him home. You can have multiple out and run them one at a time. You only get one action per turn. The kids kind of have, at least at the beginning, a good selection of directions they can go in until aliens start shutting stuff off. You have cards that you can play to help you out. So you have a pretty decent amount of stuff that you can do as a player.
For that, I think the mechanics are good. It's a pretty simple game in general. You have a hand of cards, and you have your little friend, your token kids. Yes, your token kids. No.
Token kids.
I mean, some of them. But on your turn, you either choose to release a child, or you draw, or you play a movement card, and your movement card tells you how far you have to go. And with that, you have the full board to strategize how you're going to go. There's things like the mansions are worth more points if your kid makes it there versus like hanging out at the pool.
Yeah, so the game is also kind of a race to get to the best spots with your kids before the other players. Yeah, it's not co-op in any fashion.
No. Definitely competitive.
Yep. Yeah. I listed the mechanics as good. They're solid. You explained them pretty good. You have pretty much the entire board at the beginning. Areas start getting closed off as aliens show up. You can lose kids because of that. You're trying to hit the highest point escape places before your opponents, and it's a quick, fast little game, and it works pretty good.
Yeah. For components wise, you said it was mixed. How come?
I said mixed. Mainly, honestly, it's a nice little foldable board. The box, it comes in a small box. There just isn't much to what you got, and I feel a little bad on this one because honestly, maybe I'm kind of on the fence. The Steve Rhodes games are designed to be cheap and small, and some of them are cheaper, not cheaper in price, but like components wise than others. And honestly, this one's kind of on the higher end of the games that we've played so far. I know there's at least 6 of these games. But there isn't much there. So I feel a little bad. You could almost say good on this one because the board is a nice little folded up board. You got the little tokens. You've got a deck of cards that you're playing with, and honestly, you get quite a bit of bang for your buck. But it's still not really a whole lot.
Yeah, I said good, and I think we kind of go back and forth about whether or not you should consider price point on this.
Yeah.
And for $20, you do get like a really sturdy little board game and little tokens and whatnot. So I think for that, it's really good price. Now, is it like compared to like my father's work or anything like that? No. But it's also, we're not giving it an excellent either.
Yeah.
I will say, as far as components go, the tokens of the children are itty bitty teeny tiny.
Yeah.
So if you have any like dexterity issues, that could be really difficult. I don't, and sometimes still getting the little children up is hard. But theming wise, I thought it was good. It's a short, simple game. But with that, it's alien themed, and you have these kids racing to safe spaces so that they don't get abducted.
Yeah.
And, the art on the board, the names of the cards, they all kind of play into that.
Yeah, I agree. The theming is good. It's a cute little tongue-in-cheek horror game of aliens trying to abduct kids that are basically scattering across town to get home safely. Yeah. And like you said, the art plays well, but the Steve Rhodes art
is just good.
Is just kind of this cute, like 80s themed.
I would say 70s, but yeah.
70s themed, like kind of rock music, like album jacket kind of art, but it plays well with this. The cards thematically are fun and play into the game well. The whole concept of you're a bunch of kids leaving school and aliens are abducting everyone. Like it all just plays well. It's fun. It's a fun theme.
Enjoyability wise, I say it's good. My expectations for a game like this are lower than like one of our 3-hour games.
Yeah.
But very easily like would enjoy playing this, whip it out with your non-gaming friends or your Uncle Bob's and stuff.
Yeah. My enjoyability on this one is a little more mixed. Ultimately, there isn't a lot to the game.
Yeah.
Man, I almost feel a little unfair because this is more of a feelings thing on enjoyability, of course. But there's just it isn't a lot to the game. It helps that it's quick.
Yeah.
It's over fast, but you're just moving the little tokens to get to a point number on the board using cards in your hand, and that's it is what it is. It's fine. Something we didn't point out, components wise, maybe I really honestly ought to say good for this is the board is double sided. You've got 2 different towns you can play with, so like there's even a lot of option there. Like it is a well designed, well made game. But it's not one that I enjoy all that much.
That's fair.
Thoughts, along with my enjoyability being kind of mixed, the game is bland. There isn't a lot to the game. You put out a token, you play a card to move it a few spaces, and then your next turn comes around. Again, the saving grace to that is it's quick. The game plays fast. It's your first game is probably going to be at least a half an hour, but you could. Once you've played a few times, you can probably finish this game in 15, 20 minutes, no problem, even if you're playing with like all 4 people, because it's just real quick. It's a Rhodes game, for good or ill. If you like that art style, it's kind of cool. The games that we've played in that genre are just kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek horror games. This one is probably the least offensive, maybe, of the ones we played. They can be a little bit more, and we'll have a review for one that is maybe a little more on the offensive side, depending on what you like. But that we've seen kind of his art like get popular, especially over the last few years in like gaming circles and stuff, especially. And then they're, like I said, I know they've made at least 6 games based essentially off of, or at least using his art as kind of a selling point. And I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
other advantage to this is it's a cheap, small game.
Yep.
And we got it in a set of 3 for
did.
even cheaper than the $20 price point for this on its own. I don't know.
And when he says cheaper than $20, he means per game.
Yeah,
it was like $30 for this
for the 3 games. They're small, so it makes it easy to take them around if you want to just stick them in your almost in your pocket practically. For game night or something. So.
I don't think this game is planned.
Fair.
Maybe vanilla, like subtle in flavor.
Sure. I think we're saying the same thing.
There's no flavor.
That's some spicy white bread.
I think it's a cute little game.
Sure.
Like it's theming is nice and it's easy to play. Interestingly enough, we didn't really talk about this, but like this would be a good onboarding transition game.
Yeah, it is a good gateway game. I think it's because it is simple enough that you could explain pretty quick.
Yeah, and especially like I think for kiddos, like if you're comfortable with your kids playing alien games, I would be. But like this is one that like your 8 or 10-year-old could easily like pick up and you could play. Also, it's short, so their attention span would blend well to it.
No, very valid. Yeah, like I agree with all that. It's very true.
And then you had mentioned like the mobility of it. I totally think this game and all of the Rhodes games are good travel games. It's a compact little box. Even the little board, like you could easily whip that out on like a little TV tray or something.
Yeah, if you're on the train and you have like a table like spot or something like that. Yeah.
Or an RV or like anything like that. Yeah. So I think that lends itself well too, because you know, a lot of these are our favorite games, but they don't fit well in a suitcase.
No, some of them are hard to carry around.
But in general, I just love the art. We kickstarted this game, and
full disclosure.
But I think we literally got it, or I was interested in it because of the art. I was like, this is cheap. The art's fun. It's at least worth a try. And I definitely think it was after all of that. So, yeah. But if you like the art of Stephen Rhodes, or if you like the game Zombies with 3 exclamation points, or even maybe Pizza Deliverers Go to Ghost Town, then you'll probably like this game.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed hearing our perspectives on this, go ahead and like this video. If you want to hear more board game reviews, hear Gamekeeper tips, learn about our campaign and see what we do with Dungeons and Dragons, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell, then the next time we upload, you'll be notified. Sure. If there's nothing else, see you next time.